Welcome to your Friday night Roundup, where we're going to put together some of the political events of the day and put it into perspective and set you up for tomorrow's grand coffee chat number 2. So let's get straight to business. Anybody recognizes this song? By the way, I'll give you 5 points extra credit. Or 6. Maybe just 4, depending on how I feel. Between 4 to 6. Anyway, right to business. Well, Donald Trump is obviously the top of the news. Now, he estimated today that it's going to take 18 months to 2 years to get the roughly 11 million immigrants living in the U.S. illegally to leave the country. That's what he was articulating about today. How do you feel about that? What do you think of his plan? It's time to start thinking about these kind of issues. What about the rest of the Republican candidates? Well, how about former Texas Governor Rick Perry? He flat out suspended his 2016 campaign today. Didn't drop out, just he may be back if his super PAC can generate a huge slush fund or what. He's done. Rick Perry is done. That's the bottom line. The first one to exit, which makes him the first one to be gone. That's it for Rick Perry. And what about Scott Walker? His once incredibly strong lead in the Iowa polls, gone, melted away. Voters have turned their favor toward Donald Trump. And do you know? Ben Carson. Donald Trump and Ben Carson, according to a new Quinnipiac University poll that we'll try to get up here on the Twitter feed soon on the left if I can track it down. But if not, just Google Quinnipiac poll. It'll be the most updated one. You can also get that poll at realclearpolitics.com. So, how do you feel about the budget? Yeah. Do you know that the U.S. annual budget deficit is narrowing in August? Do you know what that means? Well, the budget deficit fell close to its lowest level in 7 years in August, according to the report that came out today from the Treasury Department. Well, what does that mean? We're certainly going to talk about that tomorrow in Coffee Chat. But first and foremost, do you know the difference between the deficit and the debt? The only way that what we talk about tomorrow is going to make sense is if you can appreciate the difference between the deficit and the debt. So see if you can look into that tonight if you get a chance. If not, we'll start right off talking about that. I'll explain what all of that means, and you'll be ready to rock and roll to increase your knowledge so you're able to have a conversation and understanding about whether you think it's good that indicators are that the Fed is not going to raise interest rates until the spring. What does that even mean? And why is that good? Or why is that not so good? So we'll talk about those issues tomorrow. A couple of world news events. First, the BBC is reporting that the death toll is now up to 87. 87 dead from the crane that fell at the Mecca Grand Mosque, where in Saudi Arabia, they're well, you can look into that story. I don't want to get into the death and destruction, but it's now up to 87. New report came out today that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is going to meet with President Obama, come to America in November. So that's an interesting point. And I'm going to Israel in November. So Netanyahu comes here and I'll be going there. How about that? So, fact checking some numbers. How about anchor babies? This incendiary term that's being thrown about quite a bit in the news today, which refers to American children of illegal immigrants. Thanks to candidates such as Donald Trump, This is all over the news, and his campaign manager puts the number at 400,000. Is that larger true? I'm sorry, is that number true, or is that number larger than life? Dig in, see what the answer holds. And on Friday, the House voted against approving the Iran nuclear agreement. Congressional Republicans sought to emphasize their united opposition to the deal. The vote was 269 to 162, aimed less at blocking the Iran deal, which isn't going to happen because there's already enough support for it to be implemented, but more about laying the groundwork for challenges to the deal in coming years. Hundreds gathered in Lower Manhattan today to mark the 14th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Towers and on America. And we talked about that a little bit through the day. So there's your Friday Roundup. Very exciting news day. Tomorrow, coffee chat. We'll have some supplies. We'll dig in 10 a.m. to 12. But I also want to point out one other feature. Please note that there's at least one and maybe two new commentaries. The one I'm thinking of that I'm going to post right after this video is specifically related to Jeb Bush's new tax plan that he just released. I found a great video on it that's going to just lay it out, and you can determine whether that new tax plan is helpful for the rich, or is it helpful for a larger segment of society. Can't wait to talk about that tomorrow. But tonight is Friday night. Enjoy your evening and figure out what great song this is that's playing. I can't end the video. I just love this song so much. And you want to hear this part right here. Is it real? Is it real? This is my music.